How's it going, fam? Erica back with the essentials, and today we are doing a versus video. We are doing the Benchmade mini grip with the Spidey hole versus the Spyderco Para 3. This has been a long time coming. This is a video that many people have asked for. Many people. We're finally doing it. Before we get started, I want to thank you guys for all of the stuff that you have been sending in. I cannot believe how much stuff you guys have been sending to us for the channel. We have gotten everything from sleeping bags to slipper booties to knives, flashlights, gear, tomahawks, sweatshirts, clothing, things that I don't even know. A Kelly kettle is on the way, and luminades. I don't even know what those are, but they're on the way. We have been supplied with so much stuff for the channel, and just to help us. Tools, oh my goodness, thank you, Justin from Engineer's Perspective, for those tools that you sent. Thank you, William, for the drill bits, all of the hand tools. Like, the kindness that you guys give us, it makes me want to cry every day. So thank you for everything that you've been sending in for the channel. Thank you for sending in gear so that I can make content. Like, thank you. I literally cannot express how grateful I am. I love you guys so much. So with that being said, now that we have some stuff to review, let's go over this comparison. The reason I think people want to see this comparison is because these are both, generally speaking, really good, small EDC knives, decently priced, and they are kind of similar with the design. Obviously, the deployment is the same. The hole is just a little bigger on the Spyderco, but people have been wanting to see this comparison, right? I have tested both of these knives, not these literal knives, but I have tested both of these models on the channel. Those videos are up on the knife review playlist. So these have both been tested consecutively for a month. We have plenty of info on them, and I have owned versions of these on and off for many years. So let's talk about what is different about them first. We'll do that. First of all, I feel that we have a more ergonomic handle on the mini grip, just because the palm swell in the Para 3 is simply problematic for a lot of people. There's a reason a lot of people get the skinny scales for this, because this palm swell here is just a little big and bulky. And is it necessary? Not really. I feel like palm swells are comfortable when you're doing hard use tasks, when you're really bearing down and doing push cuts and stuff like that. Like, that can be beneficial, but in everyday tasks, I just feel like this is a little unnecessary. Yes, it was carried over from the Paramilitary 2, which also has a slight palm swell, but I feel like they maybe could have done without it on this model. It doesn't bother me, but I know it bothers other people. On the mini grip, we do not have that. We have a severe lack of ergonomics, which is good, right? Us users want a neutral, universal handle. That way, any type of hand can use it, any hand size can use it, and it doesn't tell you where to put your fingers or your hand or anything. It just, you can use it however. You can manipulate that blade however you need to, and there's nothing telling you where to put your fingers. So with the mini grip, I do feel that the handle design is better, and obviously very different than the Para 3, which really likes to tell you where to put your hands. It's not as bad as like a Chris Reeve Inkosi that literally has finger grooves, or or the CRKT, what is it, Minimalist, I think, that literally has like little finger grooves for each finger. This is not that intense, but you do have, a finger choil here. You do have a forward choil, which I love, but you have another one here, and then the palm swell. So it kind of likes to tell you where to put your hand. No big deal, but this is a little more universal. Obviously, the blade shapes are a little different on these. We have what I generally call like a kind of triangle blade shape on the Spyderco. It's kind of like it's not really a leaf shape, it's more triangular, and very pointy, and I wouldn't say this is a super thin knife, really. Sorry about the glare, guys. It's honestly pretty thick. We do have it thinning out because it's a full flat grind, and I think it's kind of perfect, really. It's not too thin and it's not too thick. The Benchmade is definitely a thick boy. You start out with a really thick stock, and then you have a flat grind, and there's not a lot of room for this to thin out, so it's pretty thick behind the edge. You definitely have much more of a reinforced tip on this one, and it's a little more of like a straight razor type edge. This is like a sheep's foot, so you have like a little bit of belly, but it's a little more straight. And on the Spyderco, you have some belly here, not as straight, in my opinion, as the Benchmade. So they're just kind of different cutting edges and blade shapes. Definitely a bigger hole for deployment on the Spyderco. Obviously, locks are different. We have a compression lock on the Spyderco. We have an axis lock on the Benchmade. Spyderco, you can put the clip any area. You have 4 different options. On the Benchmade, you have 2. It's just tip up, right or left. The Benchmade is more universal in terms of right or left hand carry because the axis lock, you can engage and disengage with either hand. The compression lock is set up for right hand use. If you're a lefty and using a right hand Spyderco, I don't even know. Hey, stop. I don't know. Yeah, that's a little awkward. So I guess the Benchmade is a little more user-friendly for anybody, right? The Spyderco's kind of bossing us around, which some of us enjoy. But the Benchmade... She's crawling up my back. Do you need something? Do you want a knife? Do you want a kiss? Yeah, okay. All done. Okay? Mommy's recording. The Benchmade is a little more universal, I feel like, and more user-friendly for right or left-hand carry. The Spyderco is not. But we definitely get features on the Spyderco that are more modern and better performing than the Benchmade. So with the Benchmade, that stock thickness is really thick, and it's just not going to be the best performer with slicey tasks, right? Also that grind. Flat grind, when it's not full flat, it's great for strength, but like the Para 3 is going to be a fantastic slicer, and it's going to move through most materials way easier than the Benchmade. I also really like the jimping better on the Spyderco. I think Spyderco nails it with their jimping. It's toothy, it's grippy, and the arch that they put on their jimping is prime. Like, your fingers just lock into this. And I genuinely think that one of the biggest home runs for jimping is putting that arch in for your fingers. Like, this has jimping too, but because it's kind of flat, your fingers aren't necessarily locking in like they do on the Spyderco, right? Like, we have plenty of jimping. We have some underneath the index finger. We have some for the thumb. Absolutely. But because there's no arch, because it's straight, I mean, it's just slippery, right? And it's just not as well done as on the Spyderco. So Spyderco definitely wins for jimping and just how they designed your hand to lock in on this. The stock pocket clips are pretty night and day different. I love Benchmade OG clips. I don't really like Spyderco OG clips. I feel that they're a little long. They're comfortable in hand usually, but they're a little long, and I also feel that that's a lot of real estate poking out of your pocket with this knife, and I just don't like... I don't know. The clip just doesn't really do much for me. I really love these stock Benchmade clips, these old school ones. I just feel like they aesthetically look nice. They're the perfect length. They feel great in hand. They have great retention. I definitely like this stock clip over this one. And I do like that on this knife in particular, there's just not as much poking out of your pocket as on the Spyderco Para 3. However, if you wear gloves or you want more purchase on your knife pulling it out of your pocket, I mean, this, I guess, would be your choice because you have like an inch of material sticking out to grab, right? So to each their own. This is all to each their own, really. These are my opinions. We're just kind of analyzing different aspects here, and it's not like one is better than the other. We're just literally talking about some differences, some similarities, and what may work best for you if you're looking at these for an EDC option, right? Availability real quick. As far as we know, the mini grip is getting discontinued. You can still find them for sale for pretty cheap on some sites. I don't know how warranty will move forward with these if they're not being made anymore. Like, I have no idea what will happen in 4 years if you break your mini grip and then need to send it into Benchmade for warranty because they're not going to make this anymore as far as we know. So I have genuinely no idea how warranty will work with that. They may still do it, they may not, who knows. The Spyderco, especially this stock one here, this is not an exclusive, this is just a basic blackout model in S45VN. I can send this in for warranty and absolutely get it fixed. It's not modded, it's not an exclusive, it's not a sprint run, it is just a classic baseline Spyderco Para 3 that I can absolutely get worked on if need be. If anyone knows about how warranty will move forward with this particular model from Benchmade, put it down in the comments, because I literally have no idea how that works when a knife is discontinued and you need warranty work. I've never had to use that. What about the grip, guys? What about the grip on these? Well, we definitely have better feeling grip on the Para 3. This is G10. Very well done, G10. I love Spyderco G10. I feel like it smooths out a little more than I would like, but it's definitely more comfortable and it feels better texture-wise than the FRN here, right? And we only have a little bit of grip there. It's plastic. Not bad, but not, you know, great either. I really like the feel of the Para 3 in hand. I really like the feel of their G10. Lanyard hole, definitely a win on the Spyderco. That's a pretty generous lanyard hole, I would say. It's pretty large. You have a good one on the mini grip here. Not as big, but plenty of room to put paracord through. Let's see. Overall build, honestly, I'm going to have to give to the mini grip just because I have disassembled and reassembled this model, if I were to guess, maybe 150 times in my knife life, and it's just so easy to work with. I've taken apart and put back together many Para 3s, and they give me trouble sometimes. Between the Loctite on the screws being way over the top, I have had to use blow dryers and heat guns to heat it up and get them out. Even just taking the blade out to oil and then put back in is trickier than the Benchmade, I'll be honest. It's just, this knife is more difficult to work on as a whole for me than the Benchmade. So I really try not to take these apart unless absolutely necessary, and the only thing I really do is just like take the blade out to clean and then put it back in once it's oiled. But the Benchmade, I mean, the mini grip has just never given me issues taking it apart, cleaning it, putting it back together, doing the oiling on the blade. Much, much easier for me, at least. The Benchmade is definitely smaller than the Para 3. If we line those up, a little shorter. Cutting edge, if I could get my fingers out of the way there. Cutting edge, actually, we win on the Benchmade because we don't have that forward choil and stuff like that. I will say, for sharpening purposes, guys, for ease of sharpening, this Benchmade wins because you have nothing blocking off your sharpening there. You can access that full heel right there on a sharpening stone. You cannot with the Spyderco. That drives me nuts. It really drives me nuts. So cutting edge and sharpening definitely would go to the Benchmade because we have more cutting length and way easier sharpening accessibility. S30V for the base model on the Benchmade, S45VN for the base model on the Pair 3. We all know that the S45VN is just above and beyond the S30V, end of story. The progression with this, because this really did turn into this, if you think about it. We had S30V, then S35VN, now S45VN, and they kept evolving and evolving and trying to make ease of sharpening better, toughness better, chipping better, all of that good stuff. I'll be honest, I have tested the S30V from Benchmade and the S45VN from Spyderco beyond thoroughly, and the S45 blows everything out of the water. It really does. People are starting to think that this is kind of like an old school steel now, that it's outdated, which is really funny to me, but seriously, that is what it's turning into. Spyderco's S45VN is one of the best steels I've ever used. It is absolutely incredible. Edge retention is fantastic. Sharpening is fantastic. Toughness is fantastic. It doesn't... If you use like a Chris Reeve S45VN, which is treated lower, I'm pretty sure, than this, it doesn't even feel like the same steel. Like, I was using Chris Reeve S45VN long before Spyderco, and once I started using this... Hey, stop. This didn't even feel like S45VN because the only stuff that I knew was Chris Reeve, which is a little softer and just different. You know, it's convex edge, it's thicker. It's just going to be different, right? When you have full flat ground, high treated S45VN, it gets way toothier and has a way better working edge than when you have like a hollow ground, glassed out, low treated S45. And I'm not crapping on Chris Reeve at all. Literally at all. I'm just saying that I very much enjoy this platform of S45VN over some of the other competitors that I've used in this same steel. I love Spyderco S45VN, and if you get a chance to try it, please do. Yes, it is better than S35VN. Yes, it is better than S30V, and it is up there with the big boys, and I genuinely feel that this is an incredible steel. I have thoroughly tested it. Let's see. Overall, they're both great, right? These are both fantastic knives. I will say that the break-in period on the Benchmade seems to be easier, and I have noticed that from factory or from dealer, the Benchmades are smoother out of the box than the Spydercos. Almost every Spyderco that I have gotten, I have had to take apart and oil and put back together right away because they do not open and close. They literally are just so stiff and dry. Like, most Benchmades that I get, surprisingly, and I think I'm lucky too, but most Benchmades that I get, like right out of the box, just super easy to flick around and stuff. I'm gonna disengage the lock and I guarantee that blade won't move. So we're disengaged. It's just... That lock is disengaged right now and the blade is not moving. I swear. It just doesn't... It's so stiff. Like, that's really stiff, guys. Like, why aren't they coming... oiled or something? I don't know. And it's not like over tight. I don't think you can even over tighten the pivots on this model, but perfectly centered, like ready to go, just stiffer than your mom. It's just like the break-in period is tough, and you got to take them apart and oil them. Yeah. Which lock would I trust more in the long run? The Spyderco, the compression lock. I've never broken an Omega spring ever, and I've been using Benchmade since I was like 15 or 16. I'm 27 now. I've never broken an Omega spring, knock on wood. I need wood. Compression lock, I just trust more. Just less finicky parts. I mean, this entire liner in here is the lock, right? When you have a compression lock, that's the liner for this side of the knife. And it just moves over and locks it. I just trust this way more. In terms of longevity, I trust the compression lock way more. But, yeah. So it's really up to you guys, right? I mean, they're very similar in some ways. They're very different in some ways. It's really personal preference. They're both fantastic models that I love. You do get more blade shapes with the Benchmade mini grip. We have the sheep's foot. You can get serrated. You can get drop point. You can get tanto, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Lots of different blade shape options with the mini grip. You do not get that with the Para 3. You can get serrated Para 3s, but they're all going to have the same triangle blade shape. Yeah, so it's not like one is better than the other per se. They're both great. They both have a spot in my collection. They're both some of my favorite knife models that I've ever used. But, yeah, I guess if I had to choose which one I currently enjoy more, I guess the Para 3. I think just the fact that you have better slicing capability with this, but it's still, it's not delicate. I think I just like that. And also the steel is just one of my favorites. Like, Spyderco S45 is the balls. I just really like this. So I guess the Spyderco, at least for me right now, is the one that I would choose over the mini grip. But I will say, if they... So they discontinued this, and I do think that the readout is the new version of the Griptilian. If they make a mini readout, that will be a really tough decision for me to make between the mini readout and the Spyderco Para 3. And I'm pretty sure they're going to do that, but that would be a little bit of a tougher comparison because the readout has a lot going for it, and that would be an interesting comparison up against this. But we're not there yet, so right now, Para 3, I think, would be a better investment all around than the Benchmade mini grip, and that's just my opinion. Let me know down in the comments what you guys would choose between these two, what you like, what you dislike. Thank you again for watching. Thank you guys for giving me, sending me, lending me content for the channel. I appreciate it so, so much. Happy Friday. This will be going up on time today, I think. So happy Friday. Happy Friday. I will see you guys on the next video. I love you so much. Go use your shit. Go live your life. And I will see you on the next video. Hugs and kisses to you all.